Hi everyone, Helen Bella Bassalone here, and as always, Afternoon Tea with Helen. And this is a show whereby we speak to people, find out what motivates them, find out their inspirational nuggets, their motivational nuggets, and we talk about tea and lots of other things as well. So remember to subscribe to the channel, remember to comment to the channel, and to share. Also, if you'd like to be on the show or you know someone that you think would be a great interview, then click the link below and book a session with that person to come on the show. So let's get to it and interview my next guest.
So my guest today is Kathy Garcia. And Kathy and I are new friends. We've just met. And she's got a very interesting background. So Kathy, share us your background, because for a woman, it's different, isn't it? So explain what you went to school for, what your degree is in, and how you got to where you are today. As I drink my tea out of my beautiful cup.
I'll join you.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not set out to do, at least I didn't think I was going to be in a career in sports when I was younger. I was into fashion, I was into the arts. I did that all through high school. And then when I went to university, I went to James Madison University. I grew up in Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C. area. I started out as a journalism major because I thought I was going to be a writer. I really enjoyed it. And then somewhere along the line, my freshman year, I spoke to somebody about their concentration, and they were focusing on sports management, which I'd never heard of. I had also been a fan of sports. I played it here and there, but I didn't realize there was a business to it. And at that time, it was just starting out. So a lot of universities were starting to get it as a major. And I looked into it at my school, and it was actually a well-established major at the time in the kinesiology department. And, you know, traditionally it was like a lot of athletes, but I didn't have that background. I was just interested in the business side of it. So studied that throughout, really loved it, did internships, and I wanted to be at the top. I wanted to be at the best league possible. So I set my sights on the NFL and did internships with the Players Association, with the stadium at the time in Washington, D.C., RFK, and just really networked throughout my younger days in college. And then first job out of school ended up at the NFL league office in New York City. So it really kind of, it just went from there. I think I was just really focused on becoming, at the time there was not a lot of women, and I really wanted to, you know, pioneer that. I wanted to be one of the first, and I wanted to be on the team side. And I chose football. Really, there's no other explanation except that it has the least amount of games than all the other sports. So there's only 10 games.
So you're with, who are you with right now?
I work with Miami Dolphins.
As far as your team?
Yes. So
right, exactly. I just wanted to clarify that, because we're here in Florida and you're doing the Miami Dolphins. As a woman in such a contact, sport, and such a competitive sport, especially here in the States, how do you get accepted into that world with all of those guys?
Well, it is much better than it used to be. I find that a lot of the women I was in school with, it was starting to become popular. The men nowadays are more accepting of women in this industry. There's been a lot of women who've risen up to senior leadership positions in all facets of sports, whether it's teams, whether it's, brand marketing agencies, the Nikes of the world, because, we're just getting that ability to get a seat at the table, realize that we do have, although we're not playing the sport, women can't play football, we do have the business savviness, we do have the creative ideas, and we can sell sponsorships just as good as our male counterparts, and really it's as open as it's ever been. It's in a great environment for women in sports right now.
So your particular career path right now, so what is it that you do? You do the sales and marketing, or do you do the sports management, or what is it that you actually do?
I am on the ticket sales side. So a large part of our business is obviously selling tickets, and I focus on the premium side of the business. So working with largely a lot of corporations, also high net worth individuals, really on the luxury and premium side. So that would be our premium suites, as well as we have some clubs in the stadium that are unlike any other stadium in the NFL, and they're luxurious. Obviously, we have a big need for that in a market like South Florida. People do want the best experience when they come here. They don't want to wait in lines. They want VIP service. And so I focus on that clientele, but I also work with all the different parts of the stadium. There's a lot of different products that we have.
So right now, there's obviously we're in COVID-19, 2020. How are you managing that with the NFL, with the sports? Because I know there was a lot of things in the news yesterday about it and things like that. So how has that affected your business with all of this, stay at home and contact sport and all that sort of thing?
Well, clearly it has been a little bit of a challenge, because a lot of what we do is we have face-to-face touch points with clientele. We're an event business, so part of our selling process is inviting people in to see and feel and use their senses with our product. So it's been finding a new way to really engage those people. So we are still, as of today, even though we are in this situation, we have decided that we are going to have a season. Nothing has changed on that yet. Things could change down the road, but we are working with that, and we are still selling season tickets using virtual methods like these Zoom calls and taking people through online presentations virtually, and it's been successful. I mean, we've done that before, but it's now where it used to be a small part of how we sold. Now it's 100% of how we sell. So
exactly. So were you born in Florida? Is Florida your home state?
No, I was actually born in Toronto, Canada. So
really?
Yes, I was
nice and cold up there. Yeah.
But I didn't stay there. My parents immigrated from the Philippines. So my background is Filipino. They both came over here in their 20s, met in Toronto, where I was born, and then immediately moved down to Chicago. And I spent the first decade of my life there. My siblings were born. And then we moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is what I consider home, although I've been removed from there since probably my early 30s. I actually moved around a bit. I moved to London and spent some time.
Where in London? Where in London did you move to?
I lived in Richmond, which is just southwest of.
Oh, I know. Sorry. I know exactly where it is. Yep.
It's a beautiful place.
Yes.
A lot of American expats. So I felt right at home. It's hard to leave, for sure.
Yes. Yeah. And Richmond is, we say London, I also say London, but Richmond is actually in Surrey, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I lived in Surrey as well. I lived in Croydon, right, in Surrey, so which is not that far from Richmond. So, and before that, I lived in Upminster and Hornchurch, which is in Essex. but we all call it London because anyone that doesn't live there, it's difficult to explain, you know. So, but Richmond is great. Richmond Park is beautiful. Everything is gorgeous there, you know. So how long were you there?
I was there for 3 years and raised my daughter there from 2 to 5 years old. It was an amazing experience being able to grow up, raise her there, but then also travel all around Europe and other that side of the world that weren't, that are much farther from traveling from the States. So I went a little bit into the Middle East. I traveled to Dubai, and that is something I'd never been able to do coming from the States. So really loved it.
Right. No. Yeah, living over there, you can travel so easy because everything is so close. I mean, it's a bit like traveling in the States from state to state, and that's how Europe is. So, except it's country to country, but they all border on the same piece of land, you know. So when did you come back to? You came back to the States after London?
I did. So I had the opportunity with the Dolphins in 2011. I'm sorry, 2014. I came back and I moved to Aventura and have been here since. Really, I have seen the transformation of the stadium, which it used to look very different when I started 6 years ago. It was orange seats and no roof over the top, and people didn't really go to games. And we actually our owner and our leadership team has done an amazing job transforming it, and I've been very fortunate to be a part of that process. So.
And Aventura is beautiful. I live 5 minutes from you, obviously. I live in Hallandale, which is 5 minutes from Aventura. But I did live in Aventura on the Circle for a while. And if you live in Aventura, you know what Circle is. So how do you find being a mom and a businesswoman? And are you homeschooling? Is your daughter still school age?
Yes. So
you're homeschooling as well, the whole thing?
I have 4 children. So I have 2 that I can claim credit for. So I have a 10-year-old daughter who is homeschooling. I have a 3-year-old son who is in preschool. And then I have 2 stepsons who actually reside in London, but they are 11 and 8. But they are all here right now. They do, the boys spend the summers with us and Easter breaks. But it's challenging at the moment because it's summer and there's no camps and there's no school and there's nothing to do for them outside.
and they can't travel back either because the UK is not accepting anyone from the States.
Not at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So my husband is
and the UK is because my daughter and my grandchildren live in the UK, so they've just finished school.
Yes.
Whereas in the States, we're just starting school.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have to juggle an extended family, an in situ family, homeschooling, preschool, and a job all at the same time, which is what a woman does, basically. We all do that, don't we, as women? So what would you say is your favorite part of what you do?
My favorite,
what's your favorite thing you like?
In terms of just all around personal business or with my work, more specifically.
With your work, what's specifically the best part that you like about your job?
I love the clients I work with. So my clientele that I work with consists of some of the most accomplished people in South Florida and maybe even the country. And they are, a lot of people find their home down here. And so they're so transient. A lot of people are not from here, and they all have unique stories of how they found their success. I really love learning people's stories, how they came and what obstacles they went through to, achieve this success. And, a lot of it was really people who made themselves, and I go to them for advice. I have over 100 mentors that I can go to for business questions or life questions. And I do love that.
And that was my next question. Because mentors are, I think personally, and being a coach and understanding how people work, I think mentors are crucial, I think, for life skills, business skills, and all that sort of things. So all of the mentors that you've had, you just mentioned you had several, which one has given you a piece of advice that always sticks with you?
Oh, very good question. You know, I've been lucky enough to get recently, even though I've been in this business, it's never too late, I think, to have more mentors. I mean, I've had some since early on in my career who've been with me throughout my journey, and some that I've just had recently. To get one piece of advice, I mean, it's really hard to choose. I think a lot of the advice that I get from my female mentors are, it's tough to say this, but it's, that we have to work twice as hard to be respected. It is just fact right now still, even though we're making headway. So coming to the table, and you don't have to know everything, but being authentic in who you are, and also asking questions when you don't know the answer, because nobody expects you to know everything. But be brave enough to put yourself out there and be genuine. I think people really respond to that. They can see through, people who aren't, and that's kind of who we are. People have access to so much information. So.
But also, and I'm sure that your mentors may have said this to you already, but sometimes a little bit of information is dangerous, and in today's world, there is a lot of information out there, but some of it is not actually good information. And then some people will take a snippet of something and make it into something else. And I always think that one of the things that I always advise the students and people that I mentor and coach is, don't take things personally. If someone says, how about trying this, or perhaps you could have done this differently, take that on board and don't take it personally or get defensive. Because I think, and I know I did in my younger day, if someone said to me, well, why don't you do it this way, then you'd spend half an hour trying to justify why you did it that way in the first place. So it's getting yourself into a position where you're confident enough in yourself to be able to say, yeah, let me look at it that way, or okay, I'll think about that. And I don't think enough people do that. I think a lot of people try to take things personally, and then they can't overcome where they're moving forward to. And I know as a coach, that's what I help most of my clients do, is to overcome things like that so that they can move forward and sort of open their mind and not have tunnel vision about things, So what would you advise, being in the sports world, if someone in college or one of your children wanted to get into that industry, what would you advise them to do that you may have wished that you had done already?
Well, if I could do it all over again, I very much had a chip on my shoulder growing up, thinking, I had a great network of people, but I didn't want to rely. I wanted to feel like I earned it. So I did did things the hard way. So when I looked for a job in the NFL starting out, I sent my application and my resume. This is when people were mailing things out, but I mailed it out to every NFL team, and I got many rejection letters. And I didn't stop to think about using my network and maybe being smarter about it, instead of just working hard, but also being smarter about it. I could have thought to myself, saved myself a lot of trouble, and maybe really kind of looked at who do I know, who, you know, knows me and would want to help put me in the position, or maybe make an introduction.
Right.
And I would have done that sooner. I did eventually figure that out. But I would say, you know, you are in a better position than you think if you can use your resources to your advantage.
And I totally agree with that. And again, I've had people say, no, I want to do it my way. However, getting an introduction to someone is still doing it your way, because you still have to sell yourself. You still have to prove that you can do what you're going to do. It doesn't mean, you know, a fait accompli that you have it. It just means that you've skipped a few steps and got to someone with a recommendation. That's all it means. You still got to do it yourself. You still get the thing, but the opportunity to speak to that person or be put in front of a company. Because a lot of people, what they don't understand now, and I do this when I do my career coaching, is people use their networks a lot more now than they ever did. So with LinkedIn, with social media, and with networking and connecting people, a lot of jobs, a lot of employers do not advertise their jobs. They work within their network and say, hey, this person, this person, this person, I'm looking for X, who do you know? And so the outside world doesn't really get to know that job's available. So not using your network is actually a disservice to yourself as well, you know, because I just employed a couple of interns, and I did that through my network. Yesterday it was a networking meeting, and one of the guys there is looking for someone to bring into his business. And he mentioned it to all of us, 30 people in the room. I'll guarantee today he's probably got 20 people recommended to him. So I think using your network, I think, is crucial, you know,
so powerful.
and you shouldn't. Yes, absolutely. And there's a saying that I always say is, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. Right? So if you can get yourself out there and people know you, so if you can connect with someone that people know and is a connector, that's a great person to have. You know, I know when I had my mentors as yours, you know, and I'm sure that some of your mentors, you know, are famous people, rich people, poor people, all this, same as mine. You know, over the years, I've had mentors that have been some famous people that are in different industries, that you're in awe of their presence because of their success, and you're trying to absorb everything that they can give you as many times as you possibly can, because they know all different things, you know. So what else, as a mother, a businesswoman, a wife, a parent sharing, co-parenting, stepchildren, all this sort of thing, what keeps you sane? What do you do for you?
Well, I actually love yoga, and I love fitness. My physical health has, in probably the last 10 years of my life, become very important to me in terms of handling my stress. Just knowing that you know, I'm eating well, I'm taking care of myself, for my family. That helps me stay sane. I think since I've been home, I've been able to make more time for that, which has been a blessing, because it's been a stressful time. So much uncertainty in my industry. You know, personally, it's been getting me through a lot of the not knowing, you know, what's going to happen and when, and you know, sometimes clients are asking questions, and it, you know, not having the answers, it's unsettling for somebody who, you know, runs a household, the CEO of a household. And so
right, exactly, I know. Yeah. And this is also something that's come out of being at home. There's a lot of things come positive things about people working virtually is the amount of people that are cooking, you know, and have learned to cook different things, and they're going, whoa, I actually can cook, and whoa, look at how much money I'm saving by actually cooking, and look at this, we're getting back to the dinner table, we're conversing with our family here, which is how it should be in the first place, you know. And it's like, wow, really? This is a new concept, cooking and eating at home, really?
Yes.
So it's been really good that people are doing that as well, you know. So listen, Kathy, it's been great talking to you. And for a woman in the NFL and Miami Dolphins, and I totally apologize because I'm British and it means absolutely nothing to me. Because when you say women don't play football, well, in where I come from, they do, because they actually play football. Which in America they call soccer, but in the rest of the world it's called football. And women do play, and the States has got the world champions.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Won. Yes, I totally surprised, but yes, they have a great team, and they won the World Cup. So, and I think it's the second time they've won the World Cup.
Okay.
You know, for soccer.
Actually,
and I never. And,
do you know that?
yes, and they inspire a lot of women as well. So so I don't know much about the NFL. So when we do get back to you know, games and everything, then maybe I'll get invited to a game and see what it's all about.
Absolutely.
You know?
And even if it's not football, we are the home of Miami Open tennis. We do concerts, international soccer. We just had the Super Bowl. It's a fabulous place to visit and
yes, we did. Yeah, because it's at Hard Rock Stadium, isn't it?
It's Hard Rock Stadium.
You're
and it's just down the road from Aventura and Hollywood. It's stunning, and we've created almost like a world out there, inside and out.
Oh, I can see it. Yeah, I can see it from my balcony. You know, as I can see the guitar from my balcony.
Yes.
Also, you know, the guitar. For people that don't know it and don't live in South Florida, but the Hard Rock Hotel in South Florida, where we are, is a gigantic guitar hotel, and you can see it for miles around. It's beautiful. Anyway, listen, we have to finish up now. So thank you so much, Kathy, for being on the show. And it was great to find out your inspiration and your motivation and how you manage what's going on. And hopefully everyone listening has got something out of it as well.
So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed all the nuggets, all the inspiration, the motivation from this particular interview. And remember again to subscribe, to comment, and to share. It's been great chatting with everyone again, and I hope that you will tune in to the next show. And again, if you want to have someone specifically that you want to see interviewed, then click the link below and let me know. So thanks again, and remember, Helen Vallabasalone, Afternoon Tea with Helen.